Listen to this episode if you are looking for my exact model on how to increase your sales in your already established business. Today, we are doing some no gatekeeping type of podcasting. If you know, around here, I love to share actual tangible business growth advice. And today is going to be no different than any other day on the Small Business Growth Podcast. Today, we are really sharing and breaking down my ASOE model. And I really want to share with you, if you've been wanting to increase your sales, this is going to be a great episode for you to listen to. We are going to really bring you through the exact model and framework that I bring through every single one of my product sales expansion clients. And basically, I want to share with you exactly from A to Z what it really takes to drastically expand your business. Because to be totally honest, most businesses are not actually ready for a massive expansion. We have to do a lot behind the scenes first, and today we're going to talk about what that really looks like. First things first, I do just want to give a super warm welcome to anybody that may be new here. Hello, my name is Madison Page. I'm a business growth specialist, and I love teaching product-based businesses how to grow and expand their business without ever feeling burnout. I do also just want to thank everybody for being here. Most people aren't committed to learning new frameworks, really getting this support in their business, and setting aside time to continue to grow and learn and expand and change the way that they think a little bit about their business. I like to call it an entrepreneurial IQ, and I'm so proud that you're taking that time away from your day-to-day to build yours. In today's episode, you honestly might want to save this one for when you're able to take some notes. So if you're driving, if you're on a run, if you're not able to jot down some notes, we might want to have a notebook. You might really want to set the scene of let's utilize this as a full training, because we really are going to go into it in the nitty gritty. I want you to reserve this one for a time that you're able to really sit and think and dive on in. The outline of this episode is going to be basically first identifying if this is a framework that's actually going to work for you with the values of your brand and kind of where you're at in your business, and if you're truly ready to scale. And then we're going to cover the ASOE model and really discuss what it is, how it can really learn to take your sales to $100,000 a year, $500,000 a year, 7 figures a year, and beyond. Now, you might already be saying, Maddie, that's great, but those numbers are much too high for a business like mine, or I'm not even anywhere near 7 figures in my business. I just want you to say right now that you absolutely can. This is something that I see every single day. People that don't believe they would be able to make that level of sales, you absolutely can. And this framework is absolutely going to help you to do that. So I'm so excited that you're here. I can't wait to dive on in. I can't wait to provide this support at this capacity for you today. And again, if you're new here, I'm Maddie. We're diving in. This is a podcast where we like to do things differently. We really like to give you tangible business growth advice because I feel like everybody deserves it. All right. So first things first, how do you know that you need to scale? Now, I talk about the difference between scaling and growing quite often. So if you're new here, this is more for you. If you're not, it's a good refresher. Scaling is really for established business owners. And when I say that, I mean, you're making consistent sales. You know what it takes in order for you to make sales. You basically have your sales and your marketing down. You might not be perfect, but you know that people are coming to your website and they're ordering. Kind of have a good general minimum of what you're going to make every month, and things are consistent. Now, again, your marketing might not be perfect, your website might not be perfect, because perfect doesn't always exist in business, but you know that those sales are flowing because there's plenty of people out there that don't know that that's the case. When you're scaling, we're basically taking an established business, you are already making sales, you already have some pretty solid sales flowing, but you're looking to grow, you're looking to go from where you're at to massive more numbers. So if you could possibly just want to increase your sales and you're unsure of what it looks like, if you want to know really how to make that major expansion and you're worried about how to do it right, you want to expand, but you don't really know what that looks like or how to really make it, maybe you're in a sales plateau and you've made the same amount of sales the last couple of years and you're really, really ready to like expand that in a big way, but you don't really know how to do it. Or maybe you're burnt out and you're overworked and you know that you need to make more sales for your business to grow, but you seriously have no idea how you would possibly make another sale and not have your schedule be overflooded because it's already overflowing. You are already going crazy, but you really want to do it. If any of those last three statements kind of hit home for you, this would be a perfect episode for you. Again, how you scale is going to look different than how you grow. How we grow is like big action. We need to implement big major changes. You are starting your profile, you're figuring out your branding, you're figuring out your voice, you are marketing, you're figuring out the content that works, you are getting people into your audience, you're nurturing them, you're selling to them, you're doing sales, marketing, branding, like big business like moves. You're making big business moves and it can really change based on the strategies that you're doing. And when you're growing, you're trying to figure out basically how to get consistent orders coming through your website. When we're scaling, it's much more about a lot of people feel like, all right, well, I just need more. I need more here. Now that I know how to do this, they feel like it has to be the same way that they grew. So when you grow, you're trying to get people to grow, like to find you, to nurture into your community and to sell to them. And so when people go to scale, they're like, okay, great. I just need more people in my audience. I just need more visibility. And that means that I'm immediately going to make more sales. That actually is not the case. More does not actually equal more when we're scaling our business. You don't need more content, more platforms, more emails, more people. A lot of times we actually have to look at the behind the scenes first. And will more people absolutely help you make more sales? 100%. But the majority of businesses right now are not actually fit to double their sales. If you were to have a video go viral tomorrow and all of a sudden your sales are doubled, do you have the current capacity in order to do that? And if your answer to that is no, if you're like, all right, I'm making $1 million a year in my business, or I'm making $200,000 a year in my business, can you double that current revenue within this month? If you were to automatically see that massive sales growth, can you keep up with the production of that, the shipping of that, the inventory of that? If your answer is no, then we aren't actually ready to scale and you really have to go through this model. Honestly, anybody that is trying to drastically increase your sales, even if you can answer that question, we need to really understand that these pieces are really, really key to go first. So if all of those things kind of resonate with you, the ASOE model is going to be incredibly helpful for you. This model was made to help you create a space where freedom and more sales can actually coexist. This is where we create a sustainable business. This is infusing sustainable business strategies inside of your business. We aren't trying to grow a business that you are that's all consuming and that it's all you can ever do and that you don't actually get to enjoy your life. Because at the end of the day, success means nothing if you hate the process and the everyday in order to make that money come in. What we're trying to do is have a business that actually allows for those sales to come. So again, a viral video is not going to solve your problem. Visibility in and of itself is not going to just drastically scale your sales. It might drastically scale your sales, but it also might be the end of your business. And to give you a quick example before we dive into step number one is over the summer, I saw a video go viral on TikTok. And it was someone basically saying, I can't make my rent. Can you guys go to my website and support me? And I, of course, am somebody that if they're a small business owner, I'm going to support them. And I went and I bought something on her website. It was literally $15, not a big deal, but I could do my part. She had a product. I would love to buy it. I would love to support her in her small business. Clearly, I wasn't the only one that supported her. And it is currently January 30th as I'm recording this, and I still have not received that product. I have reached out to her plenty of times and she still has not responded. She basically had to shut her business down was because she had too many sales too quickly that she couldn't actually fulfill them all. Her business was not ready to go viral to the extent that it did. Her business was not ready for the visibility that it had. And she actually was unable to fulfill those orders. So who knows what happened to my $15? I hope she was able to pay rent. I'm not going to ask for that back. However, it's just a great example of more eyes does not actually mean that you are going to be able to scale. We first have to prep your business for the expansion before we actually actually expand. I have a lot of people come to me and they're like, Maddie, I want to grow my business. This means I need to work on visibility. This means I need more people in my audience. I need to grow my community because I know I can convert at, X amount of, if I have 100 people on my website every day, or I have 1,000 people on my website every day, I know that means I'm making X amount of sales. So I would love that to be 5,000, where yes, that is the case, but we also can improve your 2% conversion rate up to a 5%, as well as we need to prep your business in order to get ready for that. So with all of that to say, let's start the ASOE model. When we look at the ASOE model, this stands for first analyze. The A is analyze. Before we can actually get more sales, we have to identify what's working. We actually have to have a good idea of what's going on in your business, what to do, what not to do, what to do more of, what to change, what to cut, and how can we really move forward. Data, when we're talking about scaling, is one of the most important things to look at. You have to have a really good idea of your overall numbers. So when we're analyzing, literally day one that I reach any of my scaling clients, we look at their numbers. If you've been listening to my past couple of podcasts, we've talked a little bit about numbers, and this is something that we do. You need to understand your financials. We need to look at your sales. We need to look at your emails. We need to look at your socials. We need to look at your pricing guides. All of those things, we want to have a really good idea of what's actually happening in your business. When you look at data, you can actually analyze and you can identify gaps. You can see what's working. You can see what's not working. And that is what we have to look at first. So we first look at both your data and your operations of your business to really see what's going on right now. Where are your biggest struggles? Where are the things that you absolutely hate doing? Where are the things that feel a little clunky right now? Where are the things that are your profitability is low, or your launches aren't really, their launches feel really heavy, or maybe you're taking too many custom orders, or whatever that might be. What are you feeling in your business? Where would you like to go? And then let's analyze your numbers to identify what the bridge to the gap is to your desired business that you want and the growth that you really want to be having. And so we first look at this and we try to identify, all right, A, if you are feeling burnt out, what are some things that we can minimize? B, what are things that don't make sense for a business that's trying to scale within your business? So maybe we want to look at your inefficiencies within your operations. We have to look at your operations and see what it doesn't really make sense. Maybe we have to look at your operations and see what are your burnout builders, meaning what are your things that are absolutely causing you to have more stress and more burnout in your life, whether it's you or your team, and where are your missed opportunities? Where are the missed opportunities that we haven't fully dove into yet, as well as what's working well, being like, heck yeah, your email marketing is converting so high. That's awesome. Or your social media, you are absolutely crushing it. Your community is super engaged. That's awesome. Let's do more of that. And how can we get more people over there? Because clearly it's converting really well. The most important thing in the analyze phase is that you have to be able to look at your data and actually be able to interpret what it really means about your brand. We have to be able to look at your profit margins of all of your products and be able to identify, what makes sense? Is this good? Is this bad? Looking at your average order value, your return customer rate, what does this mean for my overall business? So what we really have to look at in the analyze phase is A, where do you want your business to go? B, where is your business currently? And C, how do we bridge that gap based on this data? How can we look at this data and identify where some of those major gaps are? And this isn't just looking at data, it's also looking at your operations. So how is your business currently running, and where are the inefficiencies in the overall process there? Because if we look at this, again, there's inefficiencies, there's things that aren't working, there's things that you currently don't love, there's currently things that aren't perfect. If we were to just jump right to scaling and start saying, all right, let's fill some of these gaps, let's go right ahead and optimize your website and change some of your marketing, all of a sudden your sales will start to grow, but your burnout builders are still there, your missed opportunities are still there, your inefficiencies are still there, and we don't want to expand in a really big way until we actually prep our business to get rid of some of the negatives, some of the burnout builders, the inefficiencies, the things that aren't really working, and do more of what actually is working. So after the analyze phase, we have a really good idea of what your business is all about. We know we really can see a good picture of the good, the bad, the ugly, and then we can move on to sustain. Sustain really comes down to Sustain really comes down to simplifying your business to prep it to scale. And so a lot of times when we're scaling, in order to get you to the sales that you have right now, you had to do a certain amount of things, whether that's launching a bunch of new products. You had a lot of people asking for things, so you kind of just kept launching. You might have a really large product suite. Maybe your social media is just feeling like super cluttered. You've added a ton of platforms. Maybe you are marketing in a bunch of different places. There's a lot of different, maybe your team is kind of just a little scattered and it feels a little chaotic. Maybe your profit is not feeling super high. This is where we basically prep your business to scale. This is where we are cutting out the fluff. We're cutting out the things that don't make sense. You can't scale without simplifying first, especially if you answered that question at first. When I said, right now, if I doubled your sales in the next 30 days, would your current team, operations, and production be able to keep up with those sales? If your answer to that is no, we have to look at first sustain, and then second, we'll look at the O within the ASOE model. First, we have to really simplify what's going on. This is where you really build a business to sustainably scale. Right now, if you have things that you absolutely hate, this is where we cut it out, or we optimize it, or we figure out a better way for you to do it, that it's no longer causing you major stress. If you can't double your sales this month, you aren't ready to expand yet. So we first have to simplify. If you skip this step, if you skip this, many people do in their expansion. Many people just start pouring money into ads, or many people try to expand into other platforms and they try to go on all these other places. And then all of a sudden, their sales start to increase and they don't actually have the capacity for more sales to come in, and they burn out super fast. And if you're already burnt out, you're just going to double burn out, and you're going to burn out your whole team and anybody around you, because you're going to have to be calling your mom and your husband to be helping you out. And so this is where we cut things that don't make sense. We reframe some operations. We have some really important conversations. We have some really tough conversations, and decide what is the business that you really want to have, and what decisions do we need to make in order to make this business ready for that business to come. You need to build a business for sustainably scaling. Right now, your business is built to grow. You have built your business to the level of sales that you're at. You've built a business with operations and systems and structure to get to where you are. But the reason that you're at that point, or that maybe you're plateaued at that point, or maybe you're seeing the problems that you have, is because you don't have a business that's built to scale. You have a business that is built to grow and to make some sales and to get started. Now it's time to prep your business for a major amount of new sales, new customers, and honestly, just better numbers overall. This is the prep phase. So we first had to analyze. Now we're working on those, like looking at our analysis and saying, all right, what are the things that we actually can cut? This is where a lot of times we're saying, all right, what's your least favorite thing that you do? What is your least favorite thing that happens in your business? What are the things that are incredibly demanding for you? Where are the majority of your time going? And how can we optimize it? Like, how can we really cut it out and reframe it to actually reshape it and make it more sustainable? How can we get it ready to work like a well-oiled machine? The sustain phase is your well-oiled machine phase. Next is the O, is optimize. Now, optimize, we are starting to get ready for a lot of new eyes. So now that we have a really good idea of where our business is, we've cut out some things, we've set some boundaries, we've reframed how we do it, we've reshaped some of our operations, we change our plans moving forward. Those are all the inward things that we had to change. Maybe we had to do some things behind the scenes. We had to look at your pricing, we had to look at your numbers, we had to look at your team, we had to look at the admin stuff, because the admin stuff is actually what allows us, the operational stuff is what allows us to prevent burnout. Burnout comes from operational issues most of the time. And so we have to look at the behind the scenes things, because we're so in our business that we now just prepped ourselves. We allowed ourselves for the sustainable growth. We worked behind the scenes, because when we're growing, it's all outward. It's all like marketing and sales and emails and social and content and lives, and all of that is going out there. So first we actually had to focus on, all right, let's look behind the scenes first. Now we we optimize. Now we're kind of moving into more outward things. We first started inward, now we're going outward. This is where we are prepping and filling gaps and inefficiencies in the current strategies that you're doing. So when we first analyzed and we looked at your social, we looked at your emails, we looked at your website, we identified some gaps. Here is where we fill those gaps. And this isn't, posting more content. This isn't adding a new platform. This is making small tweaks and adjustments to your emails, to your content, to your marketing, and to your team, maybe a little bit, but mostly to your website and all of that in order to make it more efficient. You don't need more, you need better. You need more efficient. We need to plug the holes that you have. Right now, this optimization is the easiest way to increase your sales. Now, I could just optimize. You could skip right ahead and you would have to analyze a little bit, but you could skip the sustain phase and go right to optimize and absolutely see an increase in sales. But the level that you are trying to scale, which I know that you're trying to drastically scale, really blow this baby up, really see those big high cash months and really make this thing like, oh my gosh, all right, we're doing the dang thing. If you're trying to scale, you have to do sustain first. So we are ready for the amount of sales that you can see increase from some of these small tweaks and adjustments. Now, when I say tweaks and adjustments, it's not big major things that we have to change. A lot of this might be adding an email funnel in a place that you don't have it. Maybe adding email funnels in general. Maybe you don't have those automated. If you don't have automated email funnels, you're missing out on major sales just there. Maybe on your website, you don't have something working. You might have a broken kind of customer journey that we have to look at on your website. Maybe we can optimize, literally just change the menu bar on your website to add more sections to it, can increase your sales. Maybe we just add a free shipping over a certain amount of dollars will increase your average order value. We can look at certain pieces and now optimize how your business is actually running, marketing, and selling in order to see some big results. I've had clients that literally just add one funnel onto their website and they make an extra $10,000 in the first 4 to 5 months from that one funnel that otherwise would have been lost into the abyss because they had people shopping, but they weren't actually converting them. Right now, you have eyes on your website that you're not converting every single day. And that's normal. The average conversion rate on a website is 2 to 4% or 2 to 3%. And so that means for every 100 people that you have on your website, you're only making a sale from 2 to 3 of those. Imagine if we can increase that 2 to 3 to 7 to 8. That right there doubles your sales. So that doesn't mean that we always have to have more people, more visibility, more people going through the funnel. It just means we need to convert higher. Some people might need to grow a little bit, but the major thing we have to work on is increasing the conversion rates. How can we make what you are doing convert better with the current audience that you have? Because every day we're missing out on somebody because they're confused or they just don't have the answer to a question, or frankly, they're just not ready to buy from you. And so if we can increase that overall conversion rate, right there is the easiest way to see a sales increase. So the easiest way, fill strategic gaps that you have right now. This is looking at your website, your marketing, and all of that. So maybe we have to add a pillar of content somewhere. Maybe we have to add some of those email funnels. Maybe we have to rework how your website is, add a different page here and there, and do some different things. Here is where you have to optimize. This is where you're looking at your marketing, you're looking at your sales and saying, how can I make this better? Last but certainly not least is what everybody likes to jump to. This is what everybody that comes to me, most people are like, Maddie, I know I need more visibility. I know I need more people. I know I need to put more people through funnels. I need to expand my business. Finally, we are working through expansion. Expansion is basically getting your business seen in a big way, making more of those big changes in order to push more people through this sales funnel. Most of the time, this either means a major visibility phase, or maybe this means that we are increasing your product suite. Maybe this means we're expanding into wholesale. Maybe it means like we're doing a bunch of different things based on what your goals are. For some, this is going to be opening a brick and mortar. For some, this is going to be removing their brick and mortar from their business. Whatever that kind of is, we're going to expand and get seen in a big way. For most people, it's focusing on visibility and or product expansion, depending on your overall business. But again, if we didn't analyze, we couldn't understand what to sustain or what to optimize. If we didn't sustain our business, we aren't actually ready to optimize or expand. If we didn't optimize, we're just going to miss out on sales every single day when we have all of these new eyes come to our profile. You can have a video get 100,000 views or 1,000,000 views this week, but if you still have those same strategic gaps, you're still missing out on sales. So this last piece really is, now that your business is prepped, your team is efficient, your behind the scenes are optimized to convert as highly as possible, and you have the capacity to grow, to increase your sales, to have more people come through, now we can actually focus on expansion. Many people skip right to the E phase, but we first have to do these first couple of steps. The majority of businesses say they're ready to scale, but truly they aren't. There's a major misconception when it comes to growing and scaling your business that your audience size is the only thing that matters, is that the amount of people that you can sell to is the only thing that matters. But there are so many other pieces that we actually can change behind the scenes. So I like to kind of frame this as the inwards versus the outwards. You first have to maximize the inward side of your business, meaning the behind the scenes stuff. Meaning we have to do the team and the operation, and we have to look at your profits and your numbers and the actual, how is your business run, and get it prepped to sustainably scale before we can actually massively expand. I've seen it happen so many times that people are like, all right, it's time to scale. It's time to get seen on a big front. They do a bunch of influencer marketing, or they start really growing their following, and they get some visibility in different ways, and then they can't keep up, or they burn out, or their business actually ultimately it ends up being the thing that crushes their business, is because they actually tried to scale without setting their business up for success first. And so if you're really looking at increasing your sales, this is the model that I recommend you go through. I recommend that you start with analyze, you start looking at your numbers, be able to look at your data and see, okay, what does this mean that we can cut, that we can do, that we have to fix, and then go to sustain. Start taking action on that analysis. Start actually seeing, okay, what can we simplify? What are our burnout builders? And how can we do other things from there? Next is optimize. What are our ways that we can improve our marketing, improve our sales, improve our website, and what are the things that we can actually get better strategy around? And then how can we expand from there? If you skip steps 1, 2, and 3, your 4 is going to be much harder than it has to be. Because again, more does not equal more. This doesn't mean that you need more platforms. It doesn't mean that you need to create more content, or you need to send out more emails, or have more launches, or have more products. What this means is ultimately that we have to do what we're doing, but better. There's small little things that we can change. There's so much research. There's literally a research study that shows that somebody changed just a button on their website from blue to red, and the conversion on that button increased 40%, meaning something took them 15 seconds to go into that web page, change the color of the button, and it actually increased the opt-in to that, whatever that was, by 40%. People clicked that button 40% more just because the color changed. Those are the types of tweaks and adjustments that I'm talking about that we have to make. It's not that we need to add more marketing, add more sales. It's that we need to tweak and adjust the behind the scenes of our business, how our business is run, how our marketing looks, how our sales look, and then we can expand from there. Then we can focus on some expansion. We can focus on influencers. We can focus on other elements of your brand. So the analyze and sustain is the inwards, and then the optimize and the expansion is the outwards tasks. They have to balance each other out. You have to do that. The things that have gotten you to where you are not going to get you to where you are trying to go. This is where that change creates major change. If you have any questions on here, I have a standing 15-minute consultation call that I'm happy to offer you. If you have any questions, you can absolutely always have this 15-minute call with me. and we can answer questions on this model, on how your business is going. You can DM me coffee chat on Instagram at This Is Madison Page, and I will send you the link to this call. Would love to sit down and chat with you. Say hello, say how you doing. So if you just want to DM me and say coffee chat, I'll send you the link over. You can book it in. We can discuss your business and what's going on with it, figure out what we need to analyze, sustain, optimize, expand, and how this model can really fit inside of your business. I would love to offer that to you. Again, DM me on Instagram. It's a standing offer. I would love to have you and to have that conversation with you. Thank you for being here with me today. I know that this knowledge and like really soaking it in as scaling your business is something that is really, really scary. You might be feeling like, okay, like, am I ready to expand? Is my business ready? Is that something that I can do? Is that something that my business is ready to do? And I hope that this was incredibly helpful for you. I want you to sit and look at what these really need, what you really feel like you need to spend time on based on this. Do you need to analyze your numbers? Have you looked at your numbers from 2024? Do you need to work on sustainable strategies? Do you not really know how to do that? Do you need to look at the optimization? And where have you felt you haven't fully tackled this yet in your scalable journey? Because I know if you are here, you've probably been trying to scale for a long time. So what are some of these pieces that you've never actually thought about doing, or that you've never gone all the way through? Have you looked at your numbers? Have you figured out what the gaps are and the opportunities are based on that? I want you to first reflect on those things, and then we can kind of look forward. You might be overflowing with ideas right now. You might be saying, oh, shoot, I haven't done that. Shoot, I haven't done that. That's okay. You just learned a huge new model. And sometimes it can take, for me, I take 4 months to implement this with my clients. And then in 4 months, they are massively expanding their business. And that is where it doesn't all have to be done this week. And that expansion inside of product sales expansion comes over weeks and months. This is something that we really work through, but it can happen quite quickly and really start growing from there. You might be overflowing with those ideas on what to do first, or maybe you're kind of like, shoot, I have no idea where to start with this or how to really go. Either way, I just want you to take action on something that you learned today, whether that is looking at the analysis, looking at your numbers, looking at your emails, implementing email funnels, whatever that might be. Start taking action. You learned a lot of kind of overarching business strategy, and I would love for you to take action on one piece of that today, and that will at least get that ball rolling. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, you have that link in my DMs on Instagram to book that call, and we can totally have a conversation. I'm so happy that I got to chat with you today. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast, and if you want more episodes and more support, I put out 2 episodes a week. We have 250 hours of episodes out there already for you to start binging. And when I say I love you, I'm rooting for you, and I'm in your corner always, I mean it. I hope that this was incredibly helpful for you. Let me know how I can support you moving forward. I love to hear in the DMs what episodes really resonate with you. Which one of these are you kind of struggling with? And I can create an episode based on each element of this model. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next episode.